Hello, everybody, again. It's CC Thornley and Emily Wolfe. This
Hello.
is the second episode of our little podcast adventure. Thanks for joining us.
Yeah, thank you. It's been a interesting first week for us since launching our first podcast episode.
It was. The feedback was extraordinary. Thanks so much, everybody who was listening. So it's inspired us, unfortunately, to go further and do more.
Yes, you've asked for it, so we're doing another one.
Look, before we had such a great response to that. We've got some mail.
We've got some mail.
Yeah.
Oh, this is exciting.
We got some mail through the interwebs machine. There's over 200 letters here. Here's one from Steve Gadd. Oh, here's another one from Steve Gadd. These are all from Steve Gadd.
I think there's a hint there. Perhaps some of our
historicity was somewhat inaccurate. No, wait, here's one that isn't from Steve Gadd. This is from, who's this from? This is from Alison, and Alison has said she listened to our brand new podcast on our website and thoroughly enjoyed it. Thank you for sharing. She says she's a banjo player tragic who bought a banjo to learn to play but realised she should have started as a child to get that finger picking up to speed. Now, I want to take a moment just to address that myth. Yeah, there's a couple of things going on here. Quite often, a lot of people come to banjo very late in their musical career. Sometimes a lot of people that I teach haven't had any experience with music at all. So it's their first instrument, and it's a bit of a learning curve. And I think the problem is there is a paradigm of Australia that banjo must be played in bluegrass.
Yeah.
And that's not necessarily
that
true at all.
old myth.
Yeah. Now, bluegrass skills are fine to get down, but there's lots of ways. And when I studied at the Conservatorium of Hilla,
Fancy, we're that fancy, ladies and gentlemen.
they put a lot of work into training me out of that, and it was really good. So we played a lot of stuff you wouldn't normally play on banjo, and I had to focus on the melody and taking a step back from the constant to just the that kind of stuff. Not that we played that kind of naff. It was all like, Antonio Carlos Jobim and
Yeah, no, we don't. That's pushing it.
John Schofield and Coltrane and all that kind of stuff. But nevertheless, the point is that you don't have to play like bluegrass. There's a lot of ways to make the banjo sound good. She goes on to say, right now, the only ones fit to hear her attempts at banjo are her dogs, and the Dachshund howls when she plays the banjo. So that says it all. Look, it does say it all because you're not in bad company with a couple of dogs howling along with your banjo. Yeah, thank you very much, Alison. That means a lot to us. And she gave us some keen, some music there we're keen to check out. Mean Mary, she listens to, Sam Baker, all that sort of Americana stuff. But she's up there in Launceston. So thank you very much, Alison, and appreciate that.
Yeah, it was so nice to read that the other day. Really nice. Thank you, Alison.
Now let's have a look at these other 199 letters from Steve Gadd. Now, Steve Gadd's just given us a correction, thank God, because we don't know what we're talking about, really.
Well,
we rely on Steve's interjections.
We do rely, and that's how we're going to learn and get slightly better with our information.
So it turns out Alexander Lang, the convict fiddler, he didn't go to Port Arthur. Port Arthur wasn't a thing when he was here. And as soon as he got here, they gave him his freedom, apparently.
Right.
Yes,
well,
yes.
That's good. And I did not know that.
Did you know that? Yeah.
No.
So I don't know when he was. You've got all the details on that, but I think Port Arthur was 1870, something like that. Late in the. Well, no, it would have been after. It would have been before 1870 because the last convicts came out late 1850s.
Yeah. Well, I could just Google it, and I can be told this.
What do we need bloody education for? We got Googles.
Well, I just.
But the other interesting thing that Steve mentioned was about Eileen McCoy. She was from the Golden Valley area near Deloraine. And she actually stayed with Steve and Marjorie. And
yes, that's right. I knew when we were talking about it last week, I knew I got something wrong.
There's something there. No, but we do. Thank you very much, Steve, for that info because that's really good.
Thank you.
Yeah, it's really cool. Now, if you don't know who Steve Gadd is and who we're talking about, he's the chap who runs the Huon chapter of the Heritage Fiddle Ensemble. So if you're down there in the south and you want to get involved in folk, he'd be a great point of contact. That's all our letters.
That was so quick.
Yeah, well, I just condensed the 199 ones from Steve Gadd into just a blurb.
We love you, Steve. It's all good.
Good. Yeah, we're going to play a song in a minute, but this week's been quite quite a thrilling week, hasn't it? We got ourselves in the Mercury and
Oh, yes, we had a nice photo shoot.
yeah,
and,
you know what's funny about that? The journalist rang me up to do an interview. You can't
Yes,
see,
I saw
I'm doing the quote
that.
signs. Yeah, I didn't say any of that. And as I'm waiting, as I'm listening to her ask me the questions and I'm answering, I'm thinking to myself, you're a Murdoch journalist. You're just going to print whatever you want, aren't you? You're not going to print what I say. So I just went, yeah, sure, yeah, okay, yeah, a bit of that.
Yeah, I was thinking, what the words that you were saying were that's a bit reserved of Carl. Like normally he's a bit more,
Yes.
flamboyant with his words.
Oh,
I'm like,
flamboyant. Is that the adjective?
that's the one I'm going for.
Yeah. But that was interesting. But no, and so so that was in aid of a gig that Wolf and Thorn, that's us, are playing on November the 28th, which is not this Saturday, but next Saturday, and that's at the St. David's Hall, and that's part of the Burning Desire Festival in
St. David's
Tasmania.
Cathedral.
St. David's Cathedral, yes. The church, the big one in
Yeah,
town.
it's not a hall.
Not a hall. Oh, did I say hall?
You did.
Oh, man. My brain is not switched on today.
Okay, St. David's Cathedral. Yep, keep going.
No, you're good. You're doing well. Burning Desire.
It's for the Burning Desire series concerts that they've put on through the Theatre Royal. So you can book your tickets through the Theatre Royal, I believe. And do we actually know what time our concert starts?
Yeah, whenever
We
I
just
wanna
rock
know,
up.
I just look at the internet and there it is for me.
I'm going to say it's like an early night, possibly like a 6 p.m. concert.
Yeah, very civilised.
I reckon it'll be a civilised time, so you can go out and have, nice dinner afterwards or something.
But seating is limited, so you want to probably book one.
Yes.
Yeah, sooner
I
rather than
believe
later.
my mother's already booked her tickets.
That's good. I'm glad your mum comes to like every single gig.
Yeah, well, if she didn't come, then we wouldn't have an audience.
Yeah, folks, it's as true for us as it is for you out there too. Don't be mean to your mum. Get her; she'll come to every gig.
No, she loves it.
Yeah.
It's good.
Great taste. So that's it. And then this weekend, the Black Swans of Trespass, the anti-folk outsider jazz polemicist iconoclast band, is playing at the Evandale Porch Festival.
Yeah, that's going to be fun.
So the Evandale Porch Festival, it's the first one they've run, and you go up to the town of Evandale where they have all the penny farthings, and they're on all their houses, all the old houses with the verandas, they've got acts, they've got music on all the things. And there's the Vanuatuan singers, you would have seen those guys at Mount Roland.
Oh, they're going to be there?
They're going to be there.
Oh,
Yeah.
yay.
So those guys.
Oh, they're amazing. Oh, fantastic. I'm very excited now.
It's going to be a good weekend. So it's been pretty busy, yeah.
I think it's the first time since lockdown that I've had every weekend. November's been a gig every
It
weekend.
has, hasn't it? It's happening again.
Which is really nice though,
Yeah.
because I have missed the gigs. So yeah, it's really. And I bumped into a fellow musician today, and I was like, yeah, it's nice that we're gigging again.
Who's that? Who's that?
I bumped into Conrad today.
Conrad Parks.
Yeah.
Yeah, very good. Yeah.
Yeah. So we were saying, yeah, it's so nice to perform again, and yeah. It's
Conrad
good,
Parks
good
is a
vibes.
well-known percussionist and drummer in the
He's a
Hobart
fantastic
region.
drummer. Really nice guy too.
Well, as usual, the podcast, we guarantee you 5 tunes.
And here's one now.
Tell us about this tune, Emily.
Oh, well, it's by Alexander Lang, and it's called Miss Officer's Waltz.
Right.
And I'm not gonna try and do some more history stuff.
Did you know Alexander Lang invented the water slide in 1820? Yeah.
Really?
No.
Come on.
The water used to have to be carried up to the top of the things by orphans. So there was this long string of 200 orphans, and they just carry the buckets up there, and all the well-to-do in Launceston would jump up the top and scoot. There was only like a 10-foot slide at the time, but yeah, well, that was the beginning of the water slide.
Wow. Maybe he wrote this tune while he was going down the slide.
Maybe he did.
Maybe he did. That's what I'm going to think when I'm playing this tune. All right. Shall we do it?
Okay, very good.
Miss Officer's
We could have told them
Waltz.
something factual and interesting about this tune,
Well, we're just going to leave it with the water slide idea.
So stupid. Well done. Thank you.
Thank you.
I've been trying to learn the dots to that tune.
Yeah, you did all right.
I did shockingly bad. I just improvised most of it.
I was just being nice, but yeah.
Man. So, yeah, but I noticed there's this really cool thing on the banjo, like in that part where it goes... And the next bit, in the second part, I thought it started here. But it doesn't. It starts here. So I've been trying to wrap my head around that. I'm surprised you didn't pick that up the first 20 times I played that.
I did. I just didn't have the heart.
It didn't have the heart. You're all heart. Yeah.
It's a beautiful tune. I really like that one.
Yeah, it's very I love that tune. It's very delicate, yeah.
Lang wrote some really nice waltzes. I've got a ton of waltzes that will just feed through every time we do a podcast.
And they're like old too.
Pardon?
They're old.
They're old, yeah.
Like proper old.
They are proper old.
There would have been like Tasmanian Tigers listening to those tunes.
Yeah, well, yeah. Would have been. That's kind of a cool way to think about that.
Whilst they're in their cages dying.
Okay, maybe not that. Come on now. Maybe not that.
That was what a horrific nightmare of a tune to listen to when you...
Yeah.
Dark history, folks.
Dark, very dark.
But it's a lovely day today.
Oh, yes, it's beautiful. We can look at the water from here, and it's beautiful. And coffee as well.
We can see. Great, you have good coffee. That's the only reason I come and do the podcast.
I knew that,
here.
yeah. I know.
You have excellent traffic out front too. A bus went past before. It was spectacular.
You can't hear it, though?
No, the mics are very directional.
Oh, that's awesome.
But you can hear this.
Oh, aren't you lucky, listeners, to hear that? That's the best thing ever.
Coffee. Delicious.
Yeah. Really nice. Slurp it a bit louder for them at home, Carl, so they can really... Yeah, that's it.
Bit of morning brown. Afternoon brown. Yeah. For those of you that watch the... Auntie Donna, do you get new pop culture on your internet TV?
What? Yeah, no, I don't know.
Never mind. It's a show. It's a show the kids watch.
Okay.
Yeah. It's not bad.
It's not bad. Not bad. I might watch it later.
You should, yeah. It's
okay,
good.
I'll get onto it.
It's very funny and it's Australian.
All right.
And it's good because it's made in America, so you know that we've finally made it as a culture, as a cultural nation.
Fantastic.
What's next?
Let's move on to the next one. So,
The Joys of Piping.
The Joys of Piping.
By Max Webb.
You know a little bit about Max Webb.
I only know the anecdote that I think Steve told me.
Yeah.
That I've probably bastardised somewhat. But that's good because it means when we do publish this podcast, we're going to get some Facebook engagement from the algorithms.
Yes.
So, from what I know, Max Webb was employed to go out and work on the hydro scheme, and a lot of his work involved just sitting around in the office. And so he'd write these tunes whilst he was waiting for rain or water or whatever it is they did, concrete. And so a lot of these tunes were written on the public purse. And so in a roundabout strange way, a Conservative government was very much responsible for funding groundbreaking arts in Australia, much to their chagrin.
Yeah. And how old do you reckon these tunes are? Like, when did he...
I don't know. Well, the hydro scheme, when was that? 50s, 60s, yeah?
Yeah.
But he was in the Derwent Valley Pipe Band. He was like one of the main guys in that.
Yes, he was.
So these are like pipe tunes.
Well, yeah, I think particularly the one we're about to play, possibly because it's called The Joys of Piping, whether he, intentionally wrote it for...
Well, I reckon he probably would. And listeners, you'll be able to correct us on this. At least one of you will. And we look forward to that. In fact, we might even get Steve on the show at some point when we get better equipment.
I think we should. That'd be great.
At the moment, we can only record 2 voices.
Yeah.
Yeah, and banjo on the other machine and so on. But that'd be great because he's a wealth of information. But what was I talking about? Yeah.
Oh, it was this is great. We just had like we should do some sound effects here, like a car, like
all right.
Oh, my cabbages!
All right, great. Oh wow, did you see that? Spectacular. Goodness me. Yeah.
I was saying that he was intentionally wrote it for Joys of Piping because of the title of the tune.
Because he worked with the Derwent Valley Pipe, so that was his main thing. Yeah.
Yes. Fantastic. Great break. All right. Shall we give it a go?
Yeah, go lightly because I'm not too familiar with this tune, but I'll do my best.
Oh, we've had a couple of plays, quite a,
I figured out some stuff. but it's a
reasonably
bit-
amount
Yeah.
way it plays through this.
The Joys of Piping by Max Webb.
Such a nice up tune. I really like that
I
one.
love it too. Yeah, and I was struggling to get the notes down on it because it's in the key of A. So there was a lot of rolls and stuff at that speed that I just had to use a lot of closed position on. So I grabbed the old capo. This is one of the ones because I don't like using capo as a general rule, as you know.
I know.
Yeah.
I know.
I feel like it's not jazz. But so when I picked it up, I noticed that it's all around. And then I noticed there was this other bit where there's a double D happening on, like not a double D, sorry, I was transposing, it's a double E. So in the tune, so I used that old hillbilly thing that goes. So there's a kind of thing going on. And then it all fell into place, and then I just couldn't stop playing it for a week. I'm still working on the second half, though.
Yeah, no, that sounds good. I really like how he played, actually, because I don't really know whether if Max Webb was... Because we sort of play it like a hornpipe. It's really nicely swung.
If you'd approve.
Well, it's just one of those things I'm not quite sure what the intention would be, how to play this tune. I mean, like, you could do it as if it's meant to be a reel or play it.
Well, yeah.
But, I really like it how we play because it's nice and swung and groovy, so...
We'll have to have go down and play it for the Derwent Pipe Band and see if they kick us out. If they kick us out, we'll know.
They're probably,
You have transgressed our musical canon. Get out!
Well, one look at you and they'll probably kick us out anyway.
They'll probably stop me in the car park and call the police. Like, who's that? Quick, I don't know. Call the police.
Yeah, and I'll just be like, I don't know the guy. And I'll just go, what?
And I'll be like, Emily! Emily!
I'll be like, what? Seriously, don't know the guy.
Man.
That's what bandmates are for. To leave you out hanging to dry when the cops are picking you up.
Thanks.
No worries.
Pal.
I've got your back, man. I've got your back.
So, we'll do a few other tunes.
Yes.
That was 2, and we guarantee you 5.
Oh, yeah.
So if you want to get in touch with us, there's a lot of different ways to do it. You could probably, this will be on the website, which is the CC Thornley /Wolf and Thorn thing. You can hit us up there. I'm in the process of upgrading and doing all that. So there will be a separate web domain for Wolf and Thorn. But for now, the CC Thornley site is fine. Facebook is really good too. We'll have it all up there. You can direct messages on Facebook. There's the Tasmanian Heritage Fiddle, thfe.org.au. You can send us a message there as well. And also we'll put it around on the Folk Tasmania email list. So if you see it on that, you can reply to that and get in touch with us as well. Any sort of information, any suggestions, any sort of praise is always good. Thank you very much. Yeah, that sort of stuff. And if you want to keep abreast of our gigs, I guess Facebook is probably the most things. If you want to support the podcast and help us do it, help us upgrade gear so we can get some guests in, so we can do that sort of stuff. At the moment, the best thing you can do is get onto Bandcamp, onto the Wolf and Thorn page and just buy the album, because that money goes into a big pool for a slush fund, so that we can get some resources there. So the best way, you have this for free. We'll give it to you for free. You can listen for free. We've done proper studio recordings of these tunes as well, which is on the first album. And if you purchase that would go a long way to helping us out.
Yeah.
That is my announcement. That's
Okay,
official.
great.
How professional was that? That was
Oh
good,
man,
yeah.
that was totes professional.
For $99.99.
So we're actually going to play a couple of Steve Gadd tunes now.
Steve Gadd. Now, who is... I've heard that name.
So Steve... so these are two Vasa Viennas that Steve wrote, and I really like playing them, and Carl and I really have our own unique way of playing the Vasa Viennas.
Yeah.
So, and we played a couple of Vasa Viennas last week, so we do enjoy them. And the first one's called The Little Vasa Vienna. I don't know the background story of that one, but the next one, we're going to play two, and the next one's called A Vasa Vienna for Paddy Dawson. And Paddy Dawson was a folk musician. He lived down at Franklin, I think just, not so far from where Marjorie and Steve live now. And he had a sister, Edie Dawson, as well. There was more in that family, but Paddy and Edie played a lot of folk music and wrote folk music down that way. And I met Edie only once, because they passed away, I don't know, maybe 5-6 years ago, not too far apart from each other. And I think Edie used to play with my grandfather, went down that way.
Old Man Wolf.
Yeah, Ernie Wolf. Because I never met him, because he died before I was even born, but I just always hear stories about him, and I know he used to play a lot of dances, and I was playing for a dance, and Edie was there.
And says, you look like Ernie Wolf.
Well, they said, he introduced me, and she goes, oh, Wolf, are you a relation to Curly Wolf? Because that was his nickname, because he had red curly hair.
Really?
Yeah. And I was like, well, yeah, he's my grandfather. And she said, I used to play with him for dances. And I was just really touched by that, because I don't know much about, in terms of his music, I knew he played a little bit. There's actually, my dad's got clippings of when he used to play in Theatre Royal.
Of his hair, or?
When he used to play music.
Oh, like from the newspaper?
Yeah, he saved
I see. Sorry.
every time he had a haircut.
Every time he had a haircut, it was tradition, you'd cut a
put it
little
in
bit
a
off.
bag,
And put it in a
zip-locked
bag.
it. Yep.
Yes, we've got 400 tons of red curly hair in the shed.
Just air freezed it. We're going to turn it into wigs, and use it as
Make a fortune!
Anyway.
Nobody wanted red curly wigs, though.
Oh, I've always wanted red hair, so,
Really?
Yeah, because my brother's red hair and I had the brown hair. I felt a bit ripped off in the gene department. I was like, well, fine, whatever.
Yeah.
So that was really nice. So it's, so
So
Steve...
that's Paddy Dawson. That's the second Vasa Vienna.
Yeah,
we play.
so Steve wrote that one for Paddy Dawson, and he played it at his funeral.
Oh, right.
Yeah.
So he couldn't get any feedback of the performance at all.
No, he just
Tragic.
would assume you... Well, no, they were, yeah. I never met Paddy, but I just heard they were really lovely people and great musicians, what they did.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
There you go. So the Little Vasa Vienna, obviously there's a much bigger one out there.
Obviously. Yeah, I guess hopefully maybe Steve might give us a bit of background on that one after listening to this, but I don't know too. Yeah, I just know it's the Little Vasa Vienna, and I really like playing it.
All right. Let's have a crack at the Little Vasa Vienna and Paddy Dawson's Vasa Vienna, written by Steve Gadd. No, I really love that Varsovia, and I think that's one of my favourites.
Oh, thank you, Steve, for writing that tune.
Because it's got,
Tunes?
yeah, indeed, thanks, Steve. It's
Beautiful.
got that, the thing I love about it the most is it's got that 3 to the 4 thing going on, like all the way through that piece. So it's like you just don't hear that enough. And I love the working of the going between this chord and these chords. You know, it's so much fun.
The really nice pull with that and release. That makes it really fun to play. It's just. I just never get tired playing it. It's so pretty.
What a cracker!
What a cracker!
Paddy
What a
Dawson.
corker!
Paddy Dawson would have loved that.
He would. Still does. I reckon he can hear it.
Really? Yeah.
Wherever, you know.
Yeah. Well, that's a good way of looking at it, you know.
Yes, I think so too.
Yeah. Well, the next tune we're going to play is a song of great historical value, yes, but little social significance. This song is called Curaçao is an island in the Caribbean, and it's a Dutch. I think it's Dutch or Portuguese, but it's pronounced Cura. It's spelt Cura, and then there's a Coa. So what happens in the Australian dialect is that there's a bias towards pronouncing your C's hard, right? So Curaçao, but in the actual vernacular, I believe it's Curaçao, which is sort of like an X. So it's like the X in pinyin, you know.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Or it's a zzz sound, Curaçao sort of thing going on. The Curaçao Waltz. And this song was written to commemorate the arrival of an imperialist capitalist pig battleship into the harbour of Hobart, written by the great-grandfather of one of Australia's biggest imperialist capitalist pigs, Frank Packer.
Yeah, it's interesting, isn't it? When I saw that, I was like, oh, okay.
Maybe I'm being a bit harsh there.
Maybe.
But no.
You know.
F.A. Packer, to his friends, Paul Packer, he was a fiddle player and a musician, and I think he was the great-grandfather or the grandfather of Frank Packer, who was the cricket enthusiast from Channel 9.
Yeah.
He's the guy who gave Ida Buttrose her start.
Oh, right. Okay. Yeah.
Big, ugly head. Huge potato-like head. Massive appetite.
Yeah, right.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's still a nice tune, though.
It's a beautiful tune. And I'll have it, thanks. I'll have it for nothing. I'll take that one. So that's when I play it, I don't think about politics. I just think about me getting something for free.
Yep. Because we're cheap Tassies.
What were you saying before? We're so cheap.
No, I'm not going to repeat that on the microphone.
Something about the underwear?
Yeah,
We're so cheap. We're so cheap.
We're so cheap. We'll put them inside out.
Oh,
that's right. I'm not
wasn't
really.
That bad. That
wasn't that bad.
No detail in that.
Yeah.
Yeah. You didn't mention anything about streaks or.
all class here.
Mm. So this being our second show, it obviously shows the direction we're going to go.
Yeah, it does.
Slightly sliding towards the gutter.
Well, I feel more comfy there.
So do I. You can stretch out.
You can.
You can, you know.
You know, it's fine. It's room.
Plenty of water.
No judgment. That's pretty much how we like to be.
A little bit of judgment.
Well, yeah, a little bit. But not too much.
Just enough to keep you sharp.
Enough to keep you sharp. Now, I think with this tune, I don't think there's too many other places this tune is played, because every other, you know...
Well, it was almost lost.
It was almost lost, and it was rewritten to be readable, and so we could play it, and I don't think it's played anywhere else. I think it's only a Tassie thing, because the other tunes, you know, they sort of... You hear them other places in Australia, and you... not so much the Lang stuff, but Max Webb stuff kind of goes abroad, and some of the Kate Barron stuff, but I just think this one is the only... There's not... I think it's just us that plays it.
And this was rearranged by Violet Harrison Day.
Yes, I think so. Yeah, because we had a gig, the Bicentenary.
Oh, that was one of my first Heritage Fiddle gigs.
It was, yeah. And we played at the Town Hall, and
I can't believe you guys kept me in the ensemble after that gig.
Yeah, we had a really long meeting after
Did you?
that. No, we thought, what are we going to do about this guy? God,
yeah, he's weird.
Plays the banjo. He just wants to do bluegrass on every folk tune.
Yeah,
God,
but he brings snacks.
No, you didn't. Well, I didn't get the snacks.
Didn't you? I did bring them, but they didn't make the journey.
Did you eat them on the way in?
Yeah.
So that's
dinner time because Heritage Fiddle rehearsals at dinner time, and
Yeah.
I
Oh.
brought the snacks mainly for me, but it did stop me being grumpy.
Yeah. Well, that's good. Well, I didn't really.
Yes.
Was that you being happy?
Yes.
God.
That was me being happy.
Oh gosh. Okay. All right. So look, I think we should just play the tune.
The Kurchau Waltz by F.A. Packer. Well, that was played beautifully by you.
Thank you. I know.
Did you hear me goof that bar up?
Yes, I did. That's why I gave you the look.
We, we really need to sort out some cameras because those looks are priceless, mate. You could take those looks, you could download them off your computer, take them up to someone, and it would kill them stone dead. Say, look at this! Boom!
It's not that bad. That's hilarious.
Yeah.
They'll just turn to dust.
Yeah, they will. No,
But you're looking at me because you're waiting for me to recognise that you've mucked it up. So it's kind of like...
It's a negative cycle.
It does,
it's a negative cycle.
Because you just stare at her and go, she's going to know. So sometimes I just don't look at you just to let it go. But I hear every time.
Really? Because they're the worst. When you don't look, that's the worst. It's like, oh, come on!
Because I know you look and go, come on, turn around. It's like, no.
Did you get that? Oh, no.
But then if I make a mistake, you do like the most biggest goofy face. But that really, it does hardly happen when I make a mistake.
Yeah, but that's why the face is so goofy. It's because like, ha yeah!
Yep.
Yeah.
That's right. Take them while you can.
That's the dynamic we have. No, I love that tune. And I think the thing I love about, again, it's that C sharp in it, like the bit that goes...
Yeah.
And then that other bit. And I like to put on that little Irish tremolo for some reason. I don't know why I do that.
It's nice, though. It's so unexpected, that middle section.
Yeah.
It's really unexpected, and I really like it.
It sits well in between the A and the B and the C section, because the A section's quite, and the B
Very
section's
waltzy.
quite,
Yeah. No, it's fun to play. It's nice to have that.
And I don't think it's one of those ones, if you played it fast, you wouldn't get the magic of it.
No, I think that's, that tempo there was pushing it, but I think that sits comfy there. Because one of those ones, I think when we did it at the dance, we probably did it slower, but, but I like doing it at that pace. You can you get the nuance of the melody.
Yeah. Well, this is the thing I love about playing this sort of music, is that we're very much like the Tasmanian Heritage Fiddle Ensemble is very much integrated with folk Tasmania dances, and we quite often do dances. And when you do and so is Wolf and Thorn and Black Swans of Trespass and all the stuff we do, there's that opportunity to play this music, and it really puts this music into perspective that I think a lot of folk players don't have if they don't do dances.
Yeah, like it just gives you. Do you mean because when we do dances, we've got to really?
Well, if we do a dance, usually it's with David Wanless or Sarah Lewis or one of those Tasmanian local dance callers. And we'll have a meeting with them beforehand, and they'll say, we need 48 bars, we need 32 bars. And then you realise, that's why they played. That's why,
Yeah, also makes you understand why, it's a certain form and...
and the history behind it, like they would have done this dance to that tune whilst your grandparents were being
so like they would have
twinkled in people's eyes.
Yeah, they would have played certain tunes. Definitely, we've definitely done tunes that would go to certain dances.
Like this particular one was done as a dance in the place that we did.
In Town Hall. So I reckon there's a really very high possibility that tune would have been played in that hall.
That's what it said on the brief.
That's what it said. Yeah, it's kind of cool to be able to have that tune to play it in that space. That was really special.
Living history.
Living history.
It's more living history than an old person.
Oh,
but what? Young people, you got nothing. But what I was going to say was, when you do a dance, like if you're doing these guys won't stop. And if you would have done another two, like you do a 4-hour dance gig, and it'll be non-stop, and it will quite often be and these guys won't stop, and they'll do another 2 hours.
You got to build. It's a really good way to build up stamina as well.
Yeah.
I think the first time I did a bush dance, because you're also standing and play. Well, I prefer to stand and play, but it's definitely really good for stamina and. But then it's really fun, because if you have, if you're doing particularly the last of the tunes we're going to do, we do them in bush dance, and they can be played really fast, and it really, I don't know, just find little new ways on playing it. And I always find doing the bush dances, it gives me if I'm playing them for over and over again, it gives me different ways of playing them, and that kind of that's how I end up with these little nuances, how I play the tune, because if you're doing it several times over, you kind of, you want to sort of spice it up a little bit. So that's been really fun. I think definitely that's how I've sort of developed.
Yeah, right.
Playing these tunes is from doing bush dances.
Yeah, I get that out of them too. I really enjoy doing that.
They're fun to do. Yeah. Really fun to do.
These next two tunes.
Well, I've got a story about this one, Uncle Affy's.
Yeah.
Yeah. So Uncle Affy's taps from Cape Barren Island as well. And I was up at a festival last year, and I was chatting to a guy who plays Australian folk music as well, and he was telling me the story about Uncle Affy's tap, because he knew the tune, which was kind of cool, because we were sort of playing in this collective jam thing, and I started playing Uncle Affy's tap, and he knew it, and I was like, oh, that's awesome, because it's rare for me to go to a folk festival and people know Tassie tunes, but it's coming less rare, which is awesome. It's really cool. Anyway, he was telling me about this tune, and he said what they would do in the Aborigine community, they would dance. So this was the one you
this
said.
is the one I said
this
last
one you
week
said
that I got
last week.
hopelessly incorrect.
Yeah, you're hopelessly incorrect. So this is the one that they would try to play as fast as they could, and they would dance to keep up with the music. And the last person standing won a bottle of whiskey. So that's Uncle Affy's Tap. So that's my story about that one.
Very good. And King Pippin.
I actually don't know the origins of this one. I mean, like, I know it's...
Well, King Pippin was actually an apple.
Yes.
He was the biggest and strongest apple in the orchard, and he used to fight the other apples.
I don't know who wrote King Pippins, though. I don't... Actually, maybe that could be another one that someone could let us know. But
Yeah.
I know that King Pippin is... I have heard that polka being played at other festivals, like in the jam sessions.
Do they call it King Pippins when it's in other things? Or?
Yes. Yeah, they call it King Pippin. They know
so
it
it
as
must
King
have
Pippin.
a connection to the apple shed.
Yeah. Yeah.
And it's interesting because Steve actually, in one of his letters, hang on, where is it? No, it wasn't that one. No, look, well, it was in one of these letters anyway. I'm pretty sure he said that the next book he's going to do is on Apple Shed Tune. So if you don't know, Steve Gadd's written a book about Alexander Lang.
Yes.
But the next one, and that was with Peter McPhee as well,
Yep.
and Marjorie Gadd. But the next one he's going to do is on Apple Shed Tunes, which
Yeah.
I'm really looking forward to.
That'd be awesome.
And I really want to get a copy of that book, but I don't think there's many
No,
left.
there's not many printed, so I'm lucky I've got one.
Yeah, right.
You can maybe borrow it.
If you lend it to me, I'm just going to photocopy the whole thing.
Yeah, maybe you shouldn't say that.
Oh, yeah, whoops. I can buzz that out. I'll put a sound effect over that, a cow mooing or something. A cow mooing or a bus crashing or something. Yeah, I'll find something.
All right, shall we do it?
Yes, this is Uncle Affy's and King Pippin's.
Yeah. And yeah, thanks for listening today.
Yeah, thanks very much for listening and thanks for the engagement. I hope you like this podcast and you get something out of it. And like I said, every week we'll do 5 tunes and have a talk about them. And if you've got something to say or correct or put in, please do. We'd love to hear from you. And at one point, when we do get better equipment, we'll go out into the field because there's loads of people in the community that are just awesomely talented and have so much to say about this sort of stuff.
Yeah, and possibly a bit more accurate with their details than us.
Yeah.
And it's good, though, because we can actually go and visit people who are still writing tunes and
Yeah.
they can talk about their tunes. So that'd
that'd be
actually be
awesome.
really cool. It will be awesome. We can go and I've already got people in my mind we can go and visit. So be awesome.
Very good. Uncle Affy's, King Pippin's.
Well, it'll be King Pippin's and Uncle Affy's.
Oh, right. Okay. So,
Yes.
very good. was tripping over myself on that one. Oh dear. I got so into King Pippins. I love that tune so much. And I was like, oh, God, I could love it another round. And I looked over and you're giving me a look. I thought, oh, no.
Keeping you on your toes.
And then I was just chasing the bars. Sorry, folks. I was just chasing the bars. But that's what you get. Raw, undiluted.
That was good, though. That was fun.
It's fun, yeah. Thank you very much. So that's all. So just to reiterate what we were talking about and all the stuff, buy all our play sets and toys. They're available at Bandcamp. If you want to contribute to this podcast and help us upgrade ourselves, the best way you can do that at the moment is to just simply go to Bandcamp and buy the Wolf and Thorn album.
Yeah.
Yep. We're doing another one that'll be out when we're ready.
I like that. When we're ready.
When we're good and ready.
Oh, we're good and ready.
And that's because we decided we really want to take our time with the next one.
Yeah, we're taking our time. We've got a few more. We've got a lot more guests on that album.
There's a lot more cats to herd.
Yeah, but it's going to be really good. So we're really excited about it.
Yeah, we've got 3 down in the can so far. It's sounding good. But the first one is available on Bandcamp. So if you want to contribute to the podcast,
yes,
get onto Bandcamp.
And actually, the Vasa Vienna and the Kurokawa is on that first album too.
Yeah, much without all the bits. It's much nicer on them.
Yeah, it's much nicer.
We had time to.
Carl gets it all right.
Yeah, it took me quite a while, but we got there.
We got there.
We've got November the 28th as part of the Burning Desire Festival. If you want to get onto that, check out the Burning Desire Festival Tasmania, and you'll see it all on their website. And you can go straight to the Wolf and Thorn thing and book a ticket sooner rather than later, because that is filling up and there is seating limitations on that. Black Swan's a Trespasser up at the Evandale Thingamajigara Porch Festival.
Yep. Veranda Festival, Porch.
Yeah. Is that all? Is that everything?
Yeah, I think that's good.
Okay. We'll see you next week, folks. Thank you very much for tuning in.
Thank you.